Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. I'm Fletch. Today I will be playing my horrible little gremlin, Camille, who you probably already all know is horrible. And joining me is a wonderful friend and very talented.
What? Hi, I'm Spec. You can't let you just murdered me. Handshakes you. Uno reverses handshakes you. You are just as good.
We
And I
are
will fight you on that.
handshaking each other.
We're handshaking that. Yeah, I'm Spec, and today I will be playing Tome, bless his heart, a private investigator who sees a lot and processes none of it.
And it's really gonna be a fun duo.
Oh God, can't wait to get him just bully for an hour.
Yep, just boy. Also, wait, can't Tome actually hear the chat?
I did actually disclaim on that earlier. I checked with Doc on that. Tome can only hear the chat if there's a Pritch follower or Pritch themselves is in the chat.
Okay, cool.
So because neither of those are happening, I'm probably not going to be looking at the chat because I will get distracted and just spend the whole FPS just laughing my head off at the chat.
Camille does not
Lovingly.
have to be known by Pritch Twine just yet.
Yeah, no, the pin's away. The pin's tucked in the hair's face. No pin today. Just for you, Camille. That was a heart.
I could hear the heart emoji actually, thank you. Alright, so starting us off, as per usual for Camille's life, uh, he is a witness in yet another murder case.
God.
So he's already been at the scene for a little bit. You know how it goes. Sometimes a dead body just drops out of the sky on your way home, and you kind of have to deal with it now. Uh,
Yeah,
so
it just be like that.
it do just be like that. So, Spec.
Yeah, what is Tome up to? Well,
Yeah.
Tome, my beloved, he was hired for this case, most likely by his boss just sending him out somewhere to keep him busy. But so he's been assigned to this case, and he knows very little about it. The summary enough was to make him raise an eyebrow. You don't exactly hear bodies falling from the sky very often, but it's fine. So Tome is going to be just walking in there, acting calm, perfectly fine. And bless his heart, he's going to have his gaze completely focused on his notebook. Downside to this, Tome is tall. Camille is not.
Yeah.
There is a slight little thump as Tome barrel rolls right over Camille and onto the ground and lands with a little thump in confusion.
Tome, you hear a yelp as Camille also probably ends up falling over and is probably currently pinned underneath one of your legs.
Things are about the height of him. Sheesh. Oh my gosh, there's a person. And you see Tome just like scramble back a little. So you're a kid. And Tome is looking at you with the most deadpan confused expression you could imagine on a tune. Like eyes overly wide. His hat's a little ruffled slightly. He's just like, you're a kid.
Yeah, Camille's sitting up, readjusting his hat to make sure that it is firmly on, and like as he's adjusting his glasses as well, he's just like, yeah, I'm aware.
Kids, this is not by the book. Kid, why are you at a murder scene?
I'm a witness.
You sound way too happy about that. I'm genuinely kind of concerned right now.
Kale kind of just shrugs and stands up, and he's actually kind of gonna run an insight check on you because he's a horrible little bastard man, and that's what I forgot. I forgot to take his dice out. Give me a moment.
You're so good. I need to get Tome dice. I gotta get Tome dice.
We are professionals who remember things, you see.
Indeed.
Okay. I guess his glasses are smudged from the fall because he only gets a 13.
Oh. What do you get with 13? Okay, so the first thing you notice about Tomes when you do an insight is he is actually still genuinely confused by there being a child on the crime scene. You're guessing that he doesn't normally run into the situation, and he definitely doesn't normally trip over the situation. And he's just you've confuzzled him, baffled, concerned, confused. That isn't anything. He's just concerned. He believes you. He doesn't think you're lying. Very concerned about why you're so excited about it, but he believes you at least. There's a start there. But he's got his head tilted just slightly and an eyebrow raised. And he he sits up slightly. He doesn't stand up. He just kind of sits up on his hands and he looks at you and goes, "So, you're a witness."
And
Okay.
Camille nods, and he's
Okay.
just like, well, I guess I'm excited because it's a lot like a murder mystery.
Yeah, yes, it is. That's exactly why a child would be excited over murder. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. You see him like take his hat off and run his hand through his hair, like, okay. My gosh, golly, that's not a lot. That's a lot nicer of an answer. Should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I technically could. Good, Tome. Do you see through that actually? Nope, Tome is completely convinced. That child just really likes murder mysteries.
Yeah, I mean, he does give off the vibe of like a nerdy kid, what with his big old glasses and and everything.
He does, and we love him. We love him. Okay.
Though, if you want to, you can roll a perception.
Please, Tome, be decent at this. This is. Oh my gosh, Tome actually. Oh god, I forgot that I haven't. Can't. Okay, Tome's passive perception, cool. Tome's alpha perception, not good. That's a 12.
Okay.
God, I love him. I need to add that rogue level eventually.
What's his passive?
His passive's a 19.
We can go off of that if you want to.
Please, God bless him. His passive's good. I don't have any good modifiers.
Yeah, so yeah, this he sure is a kid. His glasses are kind of smudged right now, but like he's grinning at you, but that's not what this roll was for. This roll was to see if you could hear some of the hot goss.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, it's our favorite part of a murder mystery, the gossip.
Yeah, because there's, of course, a bunch of officers milling about the scene, and
Mhm.
and so you can actually overhear some muffled conversations between them, like, "Oh, guess there's a new one," and just like
Oh my god.
you can hear some various bets and the like, and just like, "Oh, it looks like he's already met that weird kid." Just you can hear a lot of the hot goss. Most of it kind of centers around feeling some form of pity for you,
Oh
and
my gosh.
as well as various bets to see how long until your bean is freaked.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. worst part is I don't know if Tome would like process that right. Tome just probably, honestly, Tome processes from all that is the kid goes. It's this is not the first time for the kid in these kind of situations. That is the only Tome his whole personality is he does not process things.
Yeah, this kid is known.
This kid, Tome does perceive that this kid is known, and he's looking at you, and he kind of tilts his head and smiles slightly and goes, "So how often are you a witness?"
And Camille kind of pauses, and he brings up his little hand and kind of starts doing the thing where kids count using their fingers before stopping, like, I can't count that high.
Oh my god, Tome just dead. Tome he kind of covers his mouth a little and lets out a cough that you can. It's very obviously a muffled laughter. As he finally sits up, but he does not stay. He starts to stand and he gets about halfway, and then at that point he's looking very far down, so he ends up just crouching because he is not going to spend this whole FPS staring down directly.
Yeah. So the 13 was for deception on him not being able to count that high.
Oh.
Because, yeah, I should probably keep rolling deception for this awful child.
Wonder if Tome picks up on it at all. I gotta roll my insight to counter your deception. Nope.
No!
Dice have spoken.
One.
I love it. I love it when it's like lure me.
You have a +7. Oh, you had a chance. I'm so sorry.
I did. The dice said no.
Yeah. He kind of does do. For the audience, as Tome crouches down to talk to Camille, his smile does get a little bit strained.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna roll. I don't want Tome to pick up on that. I need him to be an idiot, at least somewhat through this.
Fair.
I need him to be somewhat of a fool. It's why I love him.
He's very good. A very good fool.
So he crouches down, and you see him look around. He pats himself down a little bit, and then he sees his notebook to the side, and kind of just leans back enough to grab it, and then probably wobbles a good amount, and grabs it and goes, "Okay."
Okay, wait. Actually, do we want to do the thing that we talked about earlier?
Oh my gosh, how they first? Yes, indeed, definitely, 100%. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, definitely yes. Oh my gosh, please.
Yeah, so Camille looks around and finds another notebook and kind of picks it up.
Tome takes one look at his notebook and stares at it for a minute. And Tome, bless his heart, is not a rogue.
Yeah,
Tome has no idea what's in this.
Yeah, so Tome, to you it looks like a bunch of like inane random ramblings. Like some of them look like cooking recipes, some of them has some weird like hospital-y jargon, and others seem like regular notes for homework.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it just appears like some random notes. You sure did not write this.
Nope, Tome definitely picks it up. And for you, Camille, what you realize is there's no protection on his notebook. That is written in just plain out common. Very safe for a detective. You probably on the note open is just some very quickly, like very bad handwriting, scribble notes, something about falling, something about running late, something about, you see one thing about cinema rolls, but a note on the side, get some aftercase.
Feels kind of just squinting at this. By the way, the handwriting in the notebook you picked up, unlike your handwriting, it's actually quite neat and organized.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, and Camille just looks at it, squints, and then holds it up to Tom like, I think this one's yours.
I'm gonna roll for Tome to just try and snatch that thing. That'd be sleight of hand, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cool.
Yeah, you snatch it pretty good.
Tome yanks that and very quickly gives Camille back his own and holds his a little bit away. And Camille's like, don't look at that. Those are very official private eye notes. Very, very official. Very.
Camille raises an eyebrow.
He's got a thumb conveniently placed over the cinnamon roll note.
By the way, yeah, just wow. Camille's just tilting his head like, so you're the detective they called?
That would be me. Private investigator Tome. And since you're a witness, I might as well get your name as well.
And Camille gives you a big ol' blinding grin as he's just Camille Christie, detective.
Tome chokes slightly. Completely catch him off guard with that when you see him like hold his hand up slightly for the blindness that goes, wait. So you're a witness and a detective.
Well,
Am I getting
detective's
that right?
apprentice.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. Okay. Don't know who'd have a 6-year-old or some form of child as an apprentice. But
Oh, and Camille's gonna. Okay. Got an 8. And he rummages through his pocket and pulls out a little business card
oh my
and
gosh.
hands it up to Tome.
Tome takes the business card.
The business card is for Moria's detective agency.
Tome kind of glances down at it and then glances up at Camille, and I'm gonna see if he actually believes Camille. I'm gonna roll an insight on the just believing. Yeah, I'll say he believes him. Because I know you could easily roll higher than that.
Well, he's not lying. He is.
No, he is. So it'd be persuasion, but him and his disgusting little stats.
I mean, he only has a +6.
Oh, only has a
Yes, Spec, my beloved. I think I broke Spec.
God, I love them. I'm okay. It's cool. Just roll. Just roll. I'll be fine. I'm gonna recover. The shenanigans, as promised, are high.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Wait. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm okay. You know what? I'm glad you rolled. I'm glad you rolled. Tome looks at his card and then looks at you, and he raises an eyebrow and goes, "So, Moria hired you, a child, as an assistant detective." And he kind of looks at it and then looks at Camille and goes, "I do realize you can just grab business cards."
And Camille tilts his head and kind of just looks at you very unamused.
Oh
Like,
my god! No,
you think I would have a business card for a random detective in the case in which I witness a murder and the police hires a detective that I don't know to come in purely to make them believe I'm a detective's apprentice?
The thing that kills me about this is the most in-canon home conclusion he could have made. And I'm so happy about it because this is the most in-character thing he could have done is assume this of all things.
Yeah.
Tome looks at you with absolute conviction and goes, yes.
That seems like an awful lot of work, don't you think?
Why, that is a good point. He even like raises his hand to make an argument and then drops it like, oh wait. That's a good point. Okay, so maybe you are telling the truth. Perhaps. Still trying to process. I'll have to look into this. You have to see who would hire a kid. Good gosh, it's a murder. It's a murder. Kids don't need to. No.
Well, I didn't meet her on a murder case.
Okay, that comforts me slightly. Slightly. So concerned about why you're so happy about this, but like you said, it's just a murder mystery. Yeah, I understand. I used to be like that too.
Yeah, he's just a little baby nerd. Don't worry
He's
about
just
it.
a little nerd. He's just a little nerd. Don't question it.
Yeah.
Don't question the can't keep track of how many times it's been a witness.
Though, speaking of, if Tome wants
Yeah, the
to
murder.
investigate this child.
Yeah, the actual. Let me do an investigation. By gosh, golly, for a detective, you don't have a good investigation, my beloved. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he does not see through, Camille's disguise, unfortunately.
Nope, this is a tune talking to a tune. 100%. My gosh,
Yep.
golly, oh my beloved, why are you so in character right now? No, we love him.
I know. Camille probably tilts his head like, anyways, Mr. Detective?
Please don't call me that. Please don't call me that. That makes me feel old.
But you are old.
Okay, kid, that's enough. That is enough. We have nope. You can call me private investigator Tome or just Tome, not Grim. By gosh, golly, just don't call me Mister. Don't call me old, please, please, kid. I don't even have wrinkles yet. Please. Though
Well,
by the end of this conversation, I'm like stressing out already.
well, how old are you?
Good question, actually. Good question. Says the player. Who
I'm
could not
so
actually figure this out
sorry.
because the canon material doesn't even know. My gosh, golly. He gives you an age, probably
An age.
somewhere late 20s. If we're somewhere in the 20s. Somewhere in the 20s, man. Somewhere in the 20s. I don't know. All I know
Somewhere
is
around there.
we'll go with like a nice 23 maybe. We'll give him a 23. We'll give him a 23 for now. This is subject to change.
Yeah.
don't quote spec. Maybe he's lying. Who knows? He's lying. He feels insulted by calling him old.
Yeah, at that, Camille kind of just, grins like, well, you're like 4 times my age. That makes you pretty old compared to me.
I'm also 4 times your height. Your point?
Oh, Camille's glaring at you.
I promised he'd bully back.
He glares at you, sighs, and is just, anyways, you're here to investigate the murder, not me.
Yes. Yeah, well, you part of this murder case now, and so I am doing what any good detective would do. Definitely, I'm very professional right now.
Camille looks pretty unconvinced.
I'm pretty sure Tome himself looks unconvinced at this point.
And
He's got his hair ruffled and everything. Just sorry.
yeah, I love him. Camille kind of just crosses his arms, like, well, and like does a little get to it motion.
Yes, okay. Yes. Ugh. Gosh, you're bad. Bad as some of the old people. All right, okay. And he finally stands up completely. He really is almost 3 times Camille's height when he stands up. Gosh,
Yeah.
golly.
Camille has to really crane his neck back to look at Tome.
Imagine Tome having to look all the way down just to do it. And he gets a big stretch because, by gosh golly, sitting on the ground and crouching for even that long will make the ink stiffen. Don't just Camille say that.
Only if Tome says that out loud.
He won't say that.
Right.
Actually, you know what? He'll say it. We'll let him say it for the goose. By gosh golly.
In that case, Camille's just very casually old.
Tome kind of pauses mid-stretch and gives him a mini glare back. Tome internally, you're not allowed to commit violence against a child. You're not allowed to commit violence against a child. You're not allowed to commit violence.
Especially a child witness.
Yeah, no, gosh. Tome is such a pacifist, and you're making him just so annoyed.
He has that talent.
God, we love him for it too. So, I guess he's gonna kind of lean back. He's gonna rock on his heels some, and he's gonna flip to a new page, and he's going to let me roll this for a hammer space, because I can do that. He pulls a pencil out of his hammer space, which you see him just like reach under his collar, and then he kind of does a little spin with it and looks at Camille and goes, "So, witness Camille." I'm not calling you a mini detective right now. What did you see?
Well, I was, and Camille. Let's see. This is me, the player, taking a moment to kind of organize my thoughts.
Really valid.
And Camille goes, I was walking home when suddenly there was this snapping noise and the body fell down in front of me. There were 3 other witnesses, and he points in a direction where a group of people are kind of standing around. Some of them look pretty irate because it's been a while since the murder happened. And yeah, so pretty simple.
Okay, works out great.
Yeah, Camille's like, so after that, I called the police and made sure that those witnesses didn't leave.
Good. Okay. Maybe you know a thing or two. Impressive. Tom says that with a little shrug. Okay. He's slightly impressed, actually. You can tell he's slightly impressed. Maybe his expectations have been raised significantly.
I mean, yeah, most people would be a little bit freaked about the fact of a body like crashing down in front of them. But Camille seems pretty unperturbed by this.
Gosh.
There's also another fun little statement in there, but I don't know if Tome would notice. So, if you want to, you can roll perception.
Okay. Come on, Tome, please. Wisdom is your highest stat. Thank you!
Yeah, with a 19, you notice an important little part of his testimony. He said body before it hit the ground. He thinks that the victim was not alive when it fell.
Oh! Oh! Gosh, I really am sharing brain cells with Tome right now.
I hold you so gentle.
It works. It keeps me in character. Tome kind of tilts his head slightly, and he's writing all this down, and he kind of stares at his notebook for about 5 seconds, and then he goes, body.
And Camille tilts his head
and
like, yeah? And kind of points
I'm gonna
over
be
at where it
honest,
is.
Tome's not going to question it just yet. The reason I'm saying that is because my murder mystery novels nerd side knows Tome would probably go interrogate everyone else before he actually asked Camille's theory, so it doesn't bias his own theory just yet.
Yeah.
Gosh, Tome is a professional somewhere down in there.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. It's hidden very well.
But yeah, Camille does point at where the body is.
Tome's gonna look at it and he's gonna make a little sketch of it in his notebook. It's a quick little sketchy sketch. And he's probably gonna go talk to the other witnesses just so we can hear Camille's theory sooner because I'm curious for Camille's theory.
Yeah.
But I know Tome, you got me, the player, curious, which means I'm slightly adjusting.
Oh god, I really just pulled this out of my ass, so let's see how well I can improv a murder mystery.
You got this, I know you got it.
But yeah, Tome, I will give you the information from the other witnesses first. So
Cool.
one of the witnesses is a man who claims to be the victim's roommate. His testimony is that he came home from like work or whatever and opened the door, but weirdly enough it like flung open, and the and the doorway to the balcony was open. He heard a thump and a bunch of screams on the ground, so he rushed over to the balcony where he saw the victim. The second witness is a woman who is the ex of the victim, who claims to have just been going on her nighttime jog as she normally does during this time and on this route. She claims to have heard the same thing that Camille did, except instead of a snap, she heard a whoosh. The third person is some guy who was walking his dog, and he does not really know the victim. Just kind of saw it happen. He didn't hear anything except for when the body hit the ground and screams afterwards.
Okay. I'm taking all note of all this.
Welcome to my mystery.
Okay, I got notes. Very quickly jotted down like how Tome would have done.
Yeah.
I feel like Tome asks questions throughout the whole thing and kind of gathers all this information, and then he kind of looks over it, and he's just you see, you know that meme of the person who's like has like the little numbers floating around their head? That's Tome right now. He's just like, there's stuff not adding up.
Yeah,
There's stuff not adding up. Why does stuff never add up? Why can't we have one easy case?
Yeah. One last bit of info. As for the placement of the... Because we know where the roommate was. He was opening the door. As for the woman and for the ex and the dog walker, the ex was standing across the street on her jogging route, whereas the dog walker was a little bit further back from Camille. So not as close to the body, but still a bit closer to the woman.
So Camille was the main witness. I love it so much. Tome
is literally just walking home.
Tome is mildly. I can just imagine Tome's thought process right now. Like, the plot, this is not. Nope. Okay. Not what I expected, but you know what? We're gonna roll with it. We can roll with it. I have seen weirder. I have solved weirder. Everything's. And so he finally walks back over to Camille. And he kind of leans back and he looks at his notes and goes, so, second round here. You said body. And it's very interesting that you say that because I noticed something in all the other testimonies. You don't think, perhaps, I'm just, since you're an assistant detective, I can run ideas by you. This totally isn't Tome having to think out loud because he can't process things on his own.
I love him.
He cannot process things on his own, bless his heart. You think the person was dead before they hit the ground.
And Camille looks a little bit surprised for a moment before he grins at you. You can roll insight if you wanna.
Gosh, please, Tome. I want to know what's going on in the gremlin's mind. I don't know what's going on in the gremlin's mind.
No one knows what's going on in the gremlin's mind, at least of all himself. But with a 15, you can tell that he actually seems a little bit impressed with you figuring that out.
Oh my gosh, she's not completely incompetent. We're all surprised.
Yeah.
God, we love. God, I love him.
Yeah, don't worry about what that implies of what he thought of you earlier. It's fine.
That's a later problem for Tome. He's kind of backlogging it.
But yeah, Camille kind of just grins at you. Like, oh, that is true. I didn't say that.
And nobody else seems to have witnessed the victim alive. An interesting comparison. There's also different people heard different sounds. 2 people heard sounds, 2 people didn't. This is also the player themselves trying to process this.
Yeah, I will say, the person, because I forgot to put it earlier, the person opening the door did hear the snap and the whoosh.
So heard
Camille
both.
only heard the snap, and the ex who was across the street only heard the whoosh. Also, why don't you do a
Yeah.
I'll give you
Investigation.
perception because
Perception.
I'll give you
That's his
perception for
bad
now.
one.
Okay,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah, because I forgot to have you do it before. At the scene, like, on top of, like, the police officers milling about around and the witnesses off to one side, there is the body who kind of has, like, the chalk drawing around him,
Oh
as
my
well
gosh, I love
as what looks like a blanket, that's close to the body, that's kind of currently just been weighted down so it doesn't fly off.
Holmes looking at the blanket very
Yeah.
suspiciously. And I'm gonna roll a quick investigation and say that he, you know what, he'll be nice. He waits for Camille to follow him as he walks over to the
Yeah.
blanket.
Camille
He's
does indeed
he's
follow.
he accept oh no. He accepts that Camille seems to know what's going on slightly. And
Yeah.
plus he won't admit it, but he may need some help.
Yeah, so with a 22, the blanket seems to be a pretty standard blanket from a bed. It's gotten a little bit, as you, like, pick it up and turn it around. Question, are you wearing gloves?
We're gonna say Tone pulls out gloves. I like to think he is somewhat of a professional.
No! Roll that
Oh
fumble!
no, this fumble start! I don't have a fumble start yet.
Oh no!
Okay, well, I'm gonna roll a d20, and then as I pick up, because I already know what I was gonna do for his fumble start. Oh my god, Tone, please. Okay, luckily I know what number that is in the files. He pulls out a case file of some sort, takes one look at it, and shoves it back into his hammer space with instant speed.
Camille's gonna roll insight on that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
My gosh, at least I knew that one.
So what do you say?
Oh my gosh! Can Tome even beat that? Oh my gosh! Tome, I'm going to need a literal nat 20 to beat that! Nope!
You got a 24, you were close.
I was so close. I would have needed an actual nat 20 to beat that. Gremlin child! Tome looks considerably distraught for a second at the sight of the file before he shoves it away.
Camille is
God, you got the
making a
angsty
mental
one.
note of that.
God, you got the angsty one.
uh, this kid literally just, you set him down and the plot comes at him like a speeding truck.
Okay. Please succeed the second time, Tome. Thank you. Okay, the second time he pulls out gloves and puts those on.
Yeah.
He gets a nice scare for about 5 seconds. He looks a little ruffled still, but he's calming down quickly.
Yeah, Camille's making a mental note of it, but not commenting just yet, because we are the
That's
murder
a future
investigation.
problem.
Yeah.
That's a future problem.
Yeah, so going back to your earlier investigation roll, as you like pick up the blanket and start investigating it, you can see some dirt and scuffs from like falling onto the ground and starting to blow away. There is the smudge, a very definable smudge from a very small foot on one of the corners.
He glances at Camille. Very, just slightly.
Camille kind of just shrugs, like, it was gonna blow away.
At least you stopped it. Okay.
Yeah. And then you can actually see, like, as you kind of lean in to look, there's some tiny little smudges from what? From a red. Well, actually, it's not red at this point. It's kind of turned to a dark brown color.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
That's blood. That's blood. Tome looks at that, and I mean, he's not surprised. It's a murder mystery, but by golly, you just see him close his eyes for a second, and he goes, "Oh, one of those cases." Okay. And I'm trying to think what he gathers from this. He's putting all the little dots together very, very, very slowly, because bless him, he's not good at this job. Who let him do this job? And he looks down at Camille and goes, "So," and he's definitely not asking this because he doesn't know what's going on and his players not having brain cells right now.
I hold
to
you're
get to him.
so gentle.
He looks at Camille and goes, "Okay, so we have multiple witnesses. None of them saw the body until it hit the ground. Of course, they saw the body hit the ground. I'm not okay. Gather your thoughts, Tome. Some heard. So 3 of you. Two. One person heard a snap. One person heard a whoosh. One person heard both. One person heard none of that. There's a blanket. There's blood on it. There's the body over there. You had to step on the blanket to keep it from blowing away, which is technically tampering evidence, but I'm not going to talk about that in my report.
Camille kind of just raises an eyebrow, like, well, it was that or let it blow away.
Okay, I get the kid. Get the point, kid. Okay. The player has made a small connection. Does Tome make the small connection?
Why don't you roll and see?
I'm rolling. I'm just not make the connection. God bless him. Tome picks up that there's something important about the sounds, but by gosh, goodly do, he does not know what it is.
If you want him to say some stupid guess,
He will. Oh my gosh, yes, exactly. All right. I have a theory. The person was tightrope walking, and they were wearing a cape. The blanket as a cape. This is, and the rope snapped. Of course, it makes sense. That's where the snapping and the whoosh is. The snapping comes from the tightrope. The whoosh comes from the blanket. Case solved.
Camille looks at you for a long moment. Before he walks over to, like, close to the end of your explanation, he walks over to the body and takes a deep breath and is just, arere? There's something funny here.
Sorry, I'm cackling right. Tome tilts his head and walks over with him and looks at the body and goes, "What do you mean? What do you think happened? Because kids can be wrong."
And Camille shrugs like, I don't know, but I think the marks on the back of his head is funny. And oh, okay. That's a deception. 'Cause yeah.
That's an insight.
God. Yeah, this kid does know a good bit more than he's letting you on. But he's trying to let you kind of gather the pieces yourself.
Tome picks up on that, and he looks at Camille with a sudden newfound respect. Maybe he shouldn't have been so mean to the child. The child's taking pity on him, obviously. And he leans back and he looks at Camille and goes, "Okay, that's probably a good point. Okay, marks on back of head, was likely bludgeoning damage. Could not be, but most likely. The only person who was involved, okay, the same person who heard the snap and whoosh is also the only person who possibly could have seen. Do you perhaps just running it by you, of course, because you know you probably read a lot of murder mysteries and the plot's a funny working thing, so maybe you've picked something up. I don't know. I'm just just running it by you. That perhaps the roommate is more involved than letting on.
Camille gives you a sweet little smile.
Gosh, this kid is just calling Tome out on his lack of connections, and I love it.
Like, I don't know. Maybe you should try and see if you can get the whole picture first.
You're right. Okay. That's actually a good point. That's a very good point. It's a good idea to gather evidence before I make conclusions. Okay. Okay, I'm getting caught up by a kid now. All right. It's that kind of day. Okay. God bless Tome. I don't know if he'd connect any more dots.
Oh, I hold him so gentle.
He does.
Okay.
Tome connects dots. His player does not.
Okay, yeah. Well, first, let's take a look at the body.
Yeah, Tome, why don't you look at the God, okay. There's a brain cell up here, I promise you.
Yeah,
Tome is just currently holding on to it.
I will use that 21 for the body investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, so first of all, the body landed face first on the ground. So like
Okay.
did
not fall backwards.
Yes, did not fall backwards.
This is Tome speaking out loud.
Yeah. So that makes the bludgeoning damage on the back of the head even weirder. There's also it feels like maybe the body is, you got here a little bit later, but there's just something a bit funky about the time of death to you, since you also kind of had that hint from Camille before. And on top of that, if you pull the shirt up, you can kind of see what seems to be traces of a wire pressing into the abdomen.
Oh no, this is murder! This is a murder! Surprise Pikachu face!
So yeah, as
We
you
found the snap noise. We found the snap noise.
yeah, as you look at that, Camille is kind of like, they found some wire in the drain upstairs.
The train. Helm looks at Camille and then looks at him and goes, okay, so the wire's a snapping noise, not a tightrope. That's sad. Well, not sad. I mean, it's a murder. There's nothing happy about this. Okay, never mind. Moving on.
Yeah, Camille kind of just shakes his head very slightly. There's
First we have
nothing
the
funny
child
about tightrope murders.
There's nothing funny about that. First, Camille getting very happy over being a witness, and then Tome being disappointed that the murder isn't funny. These two are, gosh, we love them.
Yeah,
You can tell that they're mystery tunes. They're mystery tunes. It shows some days.
they are.
Um,
Any barking from my dog is the dog walker's dog in the background. Don't worry about it.
definitely 100%. Oh yeah, definitely. All the doors in the background of mine are just people on the street nearby. Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. We're very good at this this environmental noise here. Anyways, Tome is
Yeah, they're
definitely
collecting
going
the
to.
dog statement.
So somebody has speak with animals and is just asking as many questions as possible in the corner.
Yeah, this is good.
God, we love it. We love
Thank
it,
you
God.
for that, Avi.
Okay, now I'm legally required to do a quick look. Okay. I had a brain cell up here.
Actually,
About 5
if you
seconds.
do look at the statement from the dog,
I do actually. I want to.
Yeah. You get this from the police officer who was speaking with animals. The dog apparently did hear the snap, like the snap and the whoosh, like Camille, like the roommate did.
Okay. Dogs can hear better.
Yeah.
Tome knows that much. Tome. I'm giving Tome what brain cell I may have. Tome. I feel like Tome has gotten a lot of the clues, and he's just kind of staring at them at this point as his player catches up very quickly. Okay. Okay, kid. I'm looking at you. He's looking at Camille, and he even crouches down so he's not like standing over him. Okay. We found the snapping noise. The whoosh, I still think, is the blanket. Bludgeoning damage to the back of the head. Walked forward, meaning was most likely hit in the head. There is a wire in the abdomen and a wire in the drainage pipe.
Camille nodded that.
This was not an accident for sure. At least I'm assuming. My gosh, if it's an accident, then I need to go with those cinema rolls for sure.
No, with that you can be pretty certain it's not.
Okay, thank goodness. I'm okay. Yes, of course I knew that. Definitely, 100%. I never questioned it.
Oh, Tome.
He's trying. He's trying. I think it was the roommate. I'm convinced of this at this point. It's the only person who was near it. The ex, of course, would automatically be a red flag trope-wise, but not necessarily an actual reasoning and logic. That's an assumption made based on baseless fact there.
Camille tilts his head, like, but why would the roommate go through all that when he could just push?
Oh! If he could just what? Just push him?
Camille nods.
Tome's connecting the dots like... His player is connecting the dots at a much slower rate, too.
I hold you so gentle.
This player is just thinking of murder. I can't say this. This player is thinking of a very particular murder novel where multiple people working together ended up being the solution.
No, and it's only one person.
Okay, thank goodness, thank goodness. Thank goodness, because my brain was starting to overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
And so was Tome's brain.
I hand you another hint. Remember how the roommate said the door flew open?
Tome is processing that as the player processes. I promise you the thought this is exactly like a murder mystery.
Welcome to my house of mysteries, detective.
Gosh, I love it. It's perfectly in character for everything. Okay. Definitely murder. Door flew open. Roommate. Door flew open. Gravity's fast. That can make a door go fast.
Camille
That's a
nods.
thing. Has anybody inspected the door that to the roommate? The roommate, the apartment building door that flew open.
Camille shrugs like, the police didn't, but I did see some weird marks around the handle.
Okay. May I, as a player, ask what kind of wiring it was again? Was it like metallic?
Yeah, let's go with some standard, like, piano wire
Yeah.
or whatever that can, like, hold an adult body, but still
Oh
thin.
my gosh. We love that. Okay, so that's not easily broken either. Okay. Okay, new theory. Child detective. The person was tied to the door. Person falls. As a result, door whooshes open. Roommate sees this. Whooshing sound is door and blanket. Snapping noise is wire breaking.
Camille nods.
Okay.
Like, well, wouldn't it be easier to attach a person to the balcony? And he kind of looks pointedly at the blanket.
Flush, my beloved, you have way too much faith in me.
Okay. There.
I need to
I hold.
understand. I do not have brain cells at this point of the
I
night.
hold you so gentle. I hold up the blanket. I hold up the body. I look at the balcony. What happens if you cover up the body? That would explain why no one would see the body, right?
It disappears. It disappears in a gosh, too logic. Gosh, I was thinking of this too realistically. The Toonish detective has a. This is the. Oh god. You see, Tome just Tome just kind of looks at it, and you just see his brain finally catch up, and he goes, "Toon logic, of course." But why is? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, it's one of the. It makes sense. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay.
Emil nods. And kind of he glances over at the ex, like, kind of funny how the dog walker didn't hear what she did. She was further away.
Huh. And the dog heard it too. But the dog walker didn't. I want to point out the fun fact that the reason that did not register is because the player themselves got the location of the witnesses mixed up.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, that was a me messing up Tome right there. Well, bless him, he has to deal with me as a player. Tome starts to connect the dots a lot quicker now that the child is very gently guiding his hand.
Yeah.
All the while, Tome's perspective is greatly growing. He doesn't like it, but the kid's smarter than him right now.
It's fine. Let's roll
Yes, investigation,
Um,
if you want.
and I'm rolling deception for Camille to see how chill he can pass things off.
Okay,
Yeah, with a
the
17,
17 was mine.
you have connected the dots. Um,
I've connected them.
yeah. With a 17 and with the information that Camille's given you, you know that the body was covered up with a blanket, so that way, uh, anyone who was looking at it wouldn't see the body. Uh, you know that the real cause of death is the bludgeoning damage to the back of their
Mm-hmm.
head.
Okay.
You also know that the mechanism for dropping the body was tying some wire around the door handle, uh, so that way it would seem like either the person fell by themselves or like the roommate pushed them. Uh, you know that what the ex heard is not lining up with the other testimonies. Uh, and let's see. There is just one thing you're missing. Proof.
Proof.
So yeah,
Gosh, I know, I know what, gosh, I know, oh god, I know what Tome would do. Tome's gonna check and see if he can find any sort of identification on the victim that could tie him to the ex.
uh,
Tome's a little snoop. Let me roll investigation.
mhm.
I don't know if this is the proper way to find stuff out, but by god,
Oh
nope,
no.
gosh, Tome. Tome, my
Oh,
beloved, Tome.
why don't you roll with advantage? Camille's trying to give you help.
Camille just kind of nudges him again, like, maybe check twice.
Oh my god.
Gosh, Tome! Where is
Oh, Tom.
He's a little flustered that the kid's smarter than him.
Oh, I hold him so gently. Um, Camille, kind of notices that, sighs, and go- and it's time to pull out his old trusty arere and points to uh the the sleeve of this person. Kind of like on the elbow. Like, isn't that a funny mark?
Tome's
Yeah.
going to look at that. He's going to look at that, and he's good. Yes, yes, that's a very good point. And he's going to look at that.
Yeah, you can see, uh, you can identify this as lipstick.
Okay,
And
Tome,
if you
Tome,
look
by gosh
up, the
golly.
shade of that definitely matches the X. Um,
Gosh, Tome finally, aka the player, finally connects the dots. By gosh golly.
yeah, and Camille smiles like, you know, if the wire broke, it's kind of funny that we didn't find the other half on the ground.
That's a very good point. And he looks at the lipstick mark, and then looks at the um, lady witness, and goes, done extra double checking is always good. And he walks over to her and kind of leans back and goes, so that's a. I'm trying to think of how Tone would word this casually, because he is not. Gosh, he is not good. He does not have brain cells right now. Kind
I
of just
mean,
rocks in heels and goes, so what shade of lipstick is that actually? I've been meaning to buy some for myself recently.
oh, it's coral blue number 3.
Oh my gosh! I had thoughts. I had like a whole plan here, and you just smacked it out of my hands with that comment.
I'm so sorry. The moment the lipstick, I had to.
You set it up so perfectly too. Tone gives a little rock in his heel and goes, okay. You know, it's really interesting that such a very specific shade also happens to be somewhere else here, and specifically on the victim's arm. Now, I don't know as much about the legal laws of Villestown, perhaps, but I do know that withholding evidence from an investigator definitely doesn't help a case later on. I'm gonna roll intimidation. By gosh golly, Tome, please.
Oh,
Dirty 20!
okay, yeah. She absolutely looks very frazzled right now. Um, she also looks kind of pissed, but like is definitely intimidated, yeah. Uh, and she's just like, okay, fine. I met him earlier today. He he obviously did this to frame me.
Both Tome and I are currently looking at the screen and just silence in a deadpan.
Yeah.
Tome's looking at her just a little silent, and he's got that little smile on his face and goes, "Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Relationships can be like that. Okay. Sure. Definitely. Let me roll an insight on that, please, Vishgosh Tone.
Uh,
Tone. We'll say that he
I'm
gets
gonna
it.
make
Close
her
enough.
automatically fail. Yeah, she's lying through her
Yeah.
teeth.
It's above 10. We'll take it.
Yeah, she's nervous.
She is.
There's uh something else you can use to pin her with. Uh,
I want to see. Does he pick up on that she may have wire on her?
yes.
Okay, we'll say that he picks up. And he goes, so he can see that. Clarify my brain is processing this correctly. Or do you want me to roll investigation? See how long it takes for him to pick it up.
I'll give him this.
We'll give him the poor Tome suffered a lot this
Yeah,
FPS.
he's gone through so much.
Tome kind of looks and goes, and that wire. Very interesting. Don't know why you'd have it on you, but hey, people carry random items in their hand around on them. The interesting thing, though, is it's the exact same wire connected to this murder case right now, which is another interesting piece of evidence that just happens to be here. So, say perhaps he tried to frame you, which I do not believe, but say he did, why would you proceed to pick up and tamper with evidence?
Yeah, you got her. She she does like that little Ace Attorney animation where it looks like she's taking physical damage. um, and kind of just unravels. She's just like, fine, yes, I killed that man. He, I could never forgive him after what he's done.
And what did he do?
Um, God, am I gonna have to come up with a monologue on the spot?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay, I'll do it. I can go for it. Like, that awful, horrible man. He cheated on me with some, and she just puts her face in her hands, and the next part is completely unintelligible. uh, before she's like, so you see, I could never forgive him. He humiliated me.
So let me get this right. Okay, I'm not saying what he did was right. My sympathy for you for that. But I'm trying to process this correctly. You get embarrassed because someone cheated on you, something that's not your fault, and your logical conclusion to this is to commit murder.
We were in a relationship for 7
It's
years.
murder.
uh,
This is really ironic coming from Tome.
yeah.
Anybody who knows his lore, this is really ironic right now.
It's very funny.
He's just got his little hands to his face, like, okay, okay. You know what? Murder's complicated. It's not like it's just you can. There's no excuse. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, now we can do this.
kind of pops up next to you.
Oh gosh, Tome gets slightly jump scared, jumps like an inch into the air.
Like, he figures it, like, yeah, okay, buddy. He gives you a little pat. Like, even so, that's no excuse to take someone's life. You might have lost 7 years of yours, but you lost who knows how many.
Tome's slightly intimidated by how wise a small child sounds.
There you go, Tome. He's helping.
Thank you, Tome. Thank you, Camille, for not leaving Tome alone to try to morally handle this. Okay. We can do this the easy or the hard way. Either way, you still get arrested. But we can, see how long of a day all of us have in the process. So, would you like to kindly join me in walking over to the cops and getting arrested, or do you want to make a big scene and embarrass yourself further?
And she kind of just huffs and is like, all right, fine. I know when I've lost.
Yes, you have.
Is
Tome, Tome, Tome guides her to the police and explains the situation, explains the whole theory. And about a quarter of the way through, he does glance at Camille, silently asking if how much recognition he wants.
Camille is very pointedly away from all that commotion. He's uh let's see. Let's
Because
roll.
Tome did pick up on the phrase "the kid's weird" earlier, and he mentally did log that. He picks up that the kid probably isn't getting the same respect that he has at the end of this.
Yeah. Oh no. He fumbled. So let's see. Uh God, they're both pulling out lore items, I guess.
Gosh!
Yeah, Camille looks like he was going to go for a he looks like he was going to go for his notebook, but instead he pulls out what appears to be a very well-worn book. Um it's kind of singed around some edges, and you can roll
Yeah,
perception if you want to see.
please, Tome.
Okay.
Yes, Tome.
The title is a little bit too burnt to make out, but you can see that the author is someone named Tana Layton. And Camille kind of looks at it with a soft expression before putting it away. And then
Tome's
he,
talking that.
yeah, and then he pulls out his notebook and starts jotting notes in it.
Okay, so he's far away. Okay,
Yeah, you
Tome, do you
can
decide to give
probably
kid
tell that
credit?
he wants uh, absolutely none of the credit here.
Oh, fine. Tome looks at him and there's a bit of hesitation before he finishes his explanation. He purposely never claims complete acknowledgement, and he's very careful with his wording on how he describes how he found out. But he does respect that the kid doesn't seem to want to be involved too much on the case.
Which Camille is very grateful for.
Tome picks up some stuff.
He does. I hold him so gentle.
So after that, he walks over to Camille and he rocks on his heels a bit and goes, "So, assistant detective, you said, correct?"
Apprentice.
Apprentice. Okay, in training. You know, maybe you have a future in this career. I'm just saying. And
Camille
you did
lets out
good.
a little laugh at that. Um, it's not a bad laugh.
Oh. Tome kind of rocks on his heel and goes, "And you did. I'm. Thank you for helping."
And Camille kind of tilts his head like, oh, I don't know. I just noticed a few things. You did the bulk of the detective work.
Yeah, roll your deception. I'll roll my insight.
I apologize.
Gosh, Tome. No, Tome, my beloved, no.
Yeah,
I wanted you to get that one. He
yeah,
doesn't.
you see that this kid does think he just noticed some things. Uh, yeah.
Okay. Tome picks up that the kid thinks that. Tome himself has a couple of questions about it. And he goes, well, either way, the fact that the case got solved saved my butt from having to deal with my old boss bothering me about my skill now. So, you know what? Fine. Fine. Okay, fine. You know, I'm trying to think, but will Tome be friendly to the kid still, or will Tome just abandon this kid and never speak to him again? Oh gosh, that's a very questionable number. You know what? I
Is
like fluff.
giving you a smile.
I like fluff.
Yeah.
Tome rocks back and forth, and he goes, "So I recently saw an ad for this cafe, the Painted Lady, I think, that has cinema rolls, and I heard that they're really good.
And
Now,
Camille does light up at that, actually. He's like, oh, I go there a lot.
well, maybe you can show me the way because when I first started, after a good case, I would be able to go out and get a treat of some sort. So it's on me, kid. Even though you just noticed a few things, we could head there."
Camille's rolling insight on that. Gotta love some horrible mods.
No, just stinky little mods. What was that for? I'm concerned.
That was an insight on Tome.
Tome is telling the truth on that. And you can tell Tome is both flustered and very relieved with how this case went. That's a 19. I gotta give you more than that. Okay, my turn to pull stuff out of my. Tome is still a bit flustered from earlier, and his hand's itching slightly, but you can tell that he genuinely does want to go get those cinema rolls. You remember the note from earlier?
Yeah.
And then you hear this a very slight growl of his stomach as his face flushes red and he goes, okay, please, can we go get the food? I haven't ate since I got here.
And Camille laughs a little like, alright, yeah. And he starts heading off in direction of the Painted Lady. Like, uh, you know, you're actually a pretty good detective.
Okay, Tome smiles. Tome smiles slightly at that and goes, well, thanks. It's nice to hear that every once in a while, I guess.
And Camille nods like, do you usually work in homicides?
Yeah, I've been focused on it a lot more recently. They tend to line up with cases I'm personally invested in.
Oh?
Tome's gonna make a deception. That's a deception on Tome's end now. Tome, please don't be. God, Tome!
I am so sorry.
You're gonna beat that, let's be honest.
Camille's an inquisitive rogue. If he rolls anything less than uh if he rolls anything less than an 8 to parse out someone's lie, he can use an 8 instead. So the minimum he's gonna get here is 18. But you know,
Gosh!
dirty 20.
Gremlin child with the gremlin little modifiers, gosh!
He was made for this, I'm sorry to say.
I know, and I love it. But gosh, Tome, obviously realizes he shouldn't have said that, and that's a very good insight. I'm going to give you this. You notice he tilts his head slightly, and you see his hand twitch for a second towards his hammer space where he had put the file away. And he just goes, just a personal little case I'm working on. Private investigator comes with having all different types of cases, and the homicides are a particular interest to me because they sometimes leave interesting clues.
Well,
And you can tell he's very uncomfortable talking right now.
yeah. Camille's just, well, maybe I can help. I run into a lot of them.
I hope you don't have to, kid. You're not exactly.
He kind of makes a shaky little gesture.
Yeah, he looks at the recent crime scene. It's less of, I don't think you can handle a murder case, as much of, I really don't like the idea of you being involved with my personal cases. Tome is getting more uncomfortable by the second. You're watching him start to sweat nervously. And he also reaches up to scratch behind his ear slightly as he's talking.
Oh. I hold this ferret man.
You're probably picking up the alarm.
Yeah, can you
you can keep bullying him. Go on.
Yeah, Camille kind of just grins like, well, involved or not, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of each other from now on.
Tome kind of gives a smile and goes, all right, I guess that is an upside. I'll think about it. I'm informing you. I'll think about it, just because you seem to know your stuff, and a pair of fresh eyes is good. But I will emphasize, you are not going to be my partner. I'm not going to be working with you. And if anybody asks, you're simply someone I know who I'm interrogating on this for potential ideas.
Right.
But
Just
if anybody asks,
witness.
especially a deer, if you somehow see a deer who's asking about it, you are just a witness. And by gosh, if you tell him anything else, I will never let you help me on a case.
Camille's kind of just squinting.
That's a very specific threat, and he knows it, but he is very, very, very adamant about it.
He was gonna do an insight on that one.
Nope, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna even roll a deception on that one. You've already beat my the deceptions are not being nice to me right now. Plus, it's fun. It's fun. Tome seems annoyed with the person he's talking about, but in an affectionate way. The way someone you care about whenever they annoy you a little too much.
Yeah, Camille files that away. Definitely better than some of the other options he first came to mind. Like, alright.
Don't worry. He's a threat, Camille. He's not a threat. The man's as short as you are.
God, he's 2'8".
Correction, he's close. He's like 3 feet.
Oh my god.
Like he's like 3.5 feet, I think it's his max, and that's with the horns. He is not a tall Toon. It's why it's so funny when he's next to Tome.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Camille probably could beat him up.
I'm not sure
Camille.
about that. Camille's
I fear Camille.
attacks do negative damage.
Yes, but I also fear Camille and what he could do with like a if he wanted to actually harm him. The child inspires fear in me. Ferret child inspires fear.
Thankfully, this child has a pretty strict moral code.
So thankful for that.
It does not apply to breaking and entering on crime scenes, but it does apply to the important things.
Okay, you know what? Tome's not going to argue.
Yeah.
Tome's not gonna argue.
Yeah, so Camille is just like, well, it's nice to be your witness.
Don't think too much about it, kid. Please don't think too much about it. It's gonna make it awkward for both of us. It's gonna stress me out in the process. I don't need the stress.
Would it help you if I told you about a case I'm working on?
Tome nods and gives a little nod. Okay, fair. Fair information for information. I can. That's fair. That sounds reasonable. I'm a reasonable person.
Camille nods like, well, I'm looking into weird things that happen without the use of magic.
Tome perks up greatly at that. Huh. Maybe it will actually be good for my investigation then. I am investigating a couple of things, but one of particular that I think you might be an interest is please don't laugh, kid. I swear there's reasoning behind this. More mystical things, and I don't mean in the magic sense.
Camille actually doesn't really seem too bothered by that.
Oh gosh, Tome visibly relaxes slightly. Oh, thank God, it's not okay. I'm specifically creatures, but that's the case for another. We can talk about that another time. Don't want to bore you with all my notes.
Yeah, Camille nods at that. Like, yeah, that's fair. But, well, definitely let me know if you find anything out.
I will. And once I decide if I can tell you about the case, but you can tell the way he's starting to speak, you've worn him down just slightly, just with the fact that you're already doing investigation on mystical stuff. You've worn him down slightly already. So there's a higher chance now. And
Valid.
if I inform you of my case, then simply tell me if you get any information on that.
And he smiles like, sure will. Uh, also, for funsies, do you want to do another investigation?
Yeah,
I feel like you were on a roll earlier.
we were doing okay. Please, by gosh golly. Continue. Okay, where's my
So
investigation?
I
That's it.
might
Yep.
have jinxed it just by mentioning it. God, I'm looking away.
We tried. Oh. Cough, cough.
Oh my god. Uh,
We love Tome.
oh my god. He's too
Get
focused
worse.
on. He was doing so good earlier.
This is what happens when you get him to talk about his personal case. It flusters him. The whole brain is just out of it.
Oh.
You've completely thrown him off his groove now.
He's so gentle.
He can't. He's all twitchy now. He's twitching. He's rubbing the back of his ear, and he's rocking on his heels a lot more as they walk. You've stressed him out.
Oh. Yeah. He sure is thrown off his rhythm.
Oh
Uh, Camille, he he's gonna try and shift the topic, like, so, how did you hear about the painted lady?
gosh. I like to sometimes check. Last time I came here, a good while ago, somebody mentioned it once in passing by, and it's been living in the back of my brain ever since. And when I found out I was being sent here, I couldn't stop thinking about the idea of food. I'm gonna be completely honest. And it sounded good, so I figured if it's good enough I am able to actually hear people talking on the street about it in a positive way, then that's a good sign.
It is really good. Um, One of my friends works there.
Oh, really?
His name's Leo. He's a barista.
Well, maybe I'll get to meet him too. Is he also a witness to a lot of murders?
And Camille does a little laugh at that. Oh, no, he's normal.
Tom does a little laugh and goes, "Oh, okay. I wouldn't. That's implying you're not normal. Wouldn't say that just yet.
And
I
Camille
will say
kind of
I'm
just
definitely not."
looks at him like, I have a reputation with the police department and I'm 6.
That is concerning. But I mean, mine wasn't as bad as yours. But the police department didn't know about me at that age, so we'll consider it. I won't consider it too uncommon. I turned out fine.
Camille's not gonna. He's not gonna poke
Don't
that.
comment on it. Don't comment on it. Don't comment on it.
Yeah.
Don't hurt this man's ego anymore, please.
He's not gonna comment on it, but he will give a little snort before looking away.
They bullied each other so much. I love it, but gosh, Tome's ego can't take it.
Oh, I love this poor man.
He's trying. He really is.
Now, you know, if you're looking into more mystical stuff, you should definitely talk to Moria sometime.
He gives a little rocket seal and goes, huh. You know what? I've been avoiding most people for a while, so and it might work. It might work to get some outside information. All right. And he thinks, and he let's see, he probably put the card away a while ago. Let's see if he can pull it back out. He pulls the card out and goes, "This number, right?"
Yep.
All right. I'll give a look into, and who knows, maybe I'll see you there. I can try and bring a case file or two, something not murder involved, but by gosh, who knows? Maybe you will have good input on it.
Camille kind of just gives you a little smile, like, I guess we'll see then.
Yes, we'll see them. And I'm guessing they walk towards the Angel Lady. And
Yeah, they're probably there by now.
they're there. They're there. Tome can smell the cinnamon rolls. Conversation ends by that point just from Tome rushing inside.
Yeah, Camille follows after him. He's pretty familiar with this place, considering he goes here to bully Leo a lot. Except
As one
bully
does.
more like trying to get Leo to eat.
As he should. Do it. As he should. All right then.
Yeah, so they probably get their cinnamon rolls without too much event, and go and sit down for a pretty late night snack, considering this is probably happening later in the evening.
You know what? Sometimes cinnamon rolls are an all-day thing.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just have to solve a murder and then go celebrate with cinnamon rolls. It's a thing.
Exactly. It's good. I know that late night cinnamon rolls have kept me alive on some of my animation incitements.
Gosh, I'm probably gonna end up there too.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Will you make smarter decisions than I do? Probably.
Not. All right, I think we're good. We're shifting
Yeah.
off FPS topic.
Yeah, okay, back to back to these funky little characters.
Bullying the FPS.
Yeah. Is it? Tell, will you let this child order coffee?
What?
Will you let this child order coffee?
If it's above Roll the persuasion. I'll roll wisdom. That's not hard to beat. Nope. Tome says no.
Oh.
Tome tilts his head and thinks about it, but he ends up not. He gets himself coffee for sure. But
Camille just frowns. Like, oh, come on.
some of us have not slept in a while. I'm getting coffee.
Can't I get
And
coffee too?
no. I'm not that sleep deprived. And as you said, I mean, maybe if you had solved the case, you could have coffee, but you just noticed a few things.
Camille is giving you a look.
Tome's just smiling as he rocks back and forth on his heels very casually. A little bit of a smug smirk. Yes. Yes, Camille? Just tilts his head just very slightly.
Fine.
That's what I thought.
And he reluctantly, very dramatically reluctantly, orders hot chocolate.
I love him so much.
He is making it known how much he does not want to do this.
And Tome is smiling the whole time. Stubborn ferret boy meets stubborn ferret man.
How wonderful. Yeah, so why don't you roll another investigation and also perception for funsies.
Okay.
I'll give you different things for both of those.
Okay. I'm gonna. Wow.
God.
Oh.
Really?
The duality of. I told you he's a character who perceives a lot, does not process it. I opened up with that, and the dice listened. That's a nat 20 on perception.
I put my head in my hands. I'm going to give you a pass on that investigation roll because you got a nat 20.
Okay. Gosh, Tome. There's a brain cell up there, I promise.
Yeah, there's. It's rattling around. So with your perception, you can notice that Camille is starting to slow down because it is getting later in the day.
No, sleepy child.
Yeah, he's trying to hold back a yawn, but like it's very hard to not be sleepy when when you're getting cinnamon rolls and hot chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Tom did not attend this, but he's definitely rolling as if he did.
Yeah. And also because you didn't really get too much further perception, I'm just giving you this. You can also, as you look a little bit harder, you can actually, the disguise kind of drops, and you can see that this kid has been using a illusion to kind of look more tuned than he actually is. Like his proportions are a lot more realistic now. Like you can see a lot more details that usually aren't on full toons. But he still has an outline. He's just a little half toon.
Tone is looking at this, and he silently clocks it. But he respects that there was obviously a reason Camille wasn't doing it. Though Tome does seem to be a little itchy at the idea of someone hiding how they look, and he starts tapping his foot very like a nice little rhythm.
Of course you had to say that.
I'm sorry. My brain instantly
Uh,
thought of something based on the canon, and I realized it would make sense. I'm sorry. It
no,
was
you're
not on
good.
purpose. As I said it, my brain processed the words.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Um, I'll roll over the perception from earlier, and you notice that he was kind of swinging one of his legs. As you start up the rhythm, pretty much unconsciously he starts to follow along.
Tom smiles slightly, but I will admit, if that probably makes him notice that he's tapping a rhythm, and he starts tapping on a strict beat. And he seems slightly uncomfortable with the rhythm.
That is fair. Uh,
You and
eventually,
I are just looking at each other very side eyes right now. I can sense it.
he both just looks directly at you. Yeah, so he's not really noticing it. He's pretty sleepy right now.
I'm going to see. Does he actually have anything in his? I mean, he probably does, but okay. Doesn't. That's sad, but I'm going to imagine he does. For the sake of fluff, I'm going to see if Tome can pull out something to. Okay, Tome reaches into his hammer space and he pulls out an extra coat and he just very nicely lays it on Camille and goes, "Okay, it's getting late, kid. It's best you start heading home, and it's probably getting colder too. So take the extra coat." I'm just now remembering what Camille is wearing today, and this is even funnier with that context
Yeah,
that Tome is adding yet another coat to him.
double coat.
But it's fine. It's double coat. There's a bit of protectiveness in there.
Yeah, Kale kind of just blinks at that and looks up at Tom like, I already have a coat?
It's cold outside, kid, and I'm stressed out. Okay. I'd
He
rather you just not. I'd rather not have to worry about you getting too cold outside. It's Villestown. It gets cold here. Okay, please. You've already stressed me out a good amount today. Just give me this.
and he kind of just stares at you for a good long moment.
Give
Uh,
Tom this. He's trying to be a good, decent person right now. Is he succeeding? Semi. But there's an attempt. Summary of Tom's character. An attempt was made.
yeah, I hold him so gentle. Uh, After a moment, Kale kind of just sighs. Like, you know, this is way too big for me, right?
Yet I'm pretty sure, and I say this in the kindest way possible, a lot of things would be too big for you. You are very teeny.
Oh wow, I hadn't noticed.
Tom picks up on the sarcasm and just goes, "Okay, okay, I get it. All right, I'll stop making the short jokes for now. I think we've been out from the old ones." And he gives a small little smile. He's like, "I think we're finally even."
All right. And he kind of shuffles off of the seat, and as he lands, Tom wears pretty long coats, doesn't he?
Where's this reference? Hold up. I had this pulled up beforehand, and then the thing deleted it. Okay. We love it. We love it when my thing is not working with. Let me
I
see.
pat you so gentle.
I'm bringing up his reference because I guess it depends on your definition.
Yeah, with it being like that, um, the the hem of the coat touches the ground.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Tome looks at this and he's gone too far. He can't back out now.
Camille's
He can't back
just
out now.
Camille's giving you a straight look like, I told you.
Tome is giving him a silent look like, kid, do not fight me on this. One of us has coffee in us and no sleep, and it's not you.
I mean, Camille has been running off of a little sleep. You can see, with the illusion down, you can see the eye bags.
Both of them, I swear. Sleep schedules, please. They're good for you.
Yeah. It's fine.
It's fine.
Like, he gives you a pointed look, silently saying that I told you so, before moving to roll up the sleeves so at least he can kind of move.
Tome is giving him a look back like, you've told me a lot of things today, kid. We're gonna accept it at this point. I'm done fighting.
It's real cell towers.
They're just looking at each other with this like slightly salty look, like, I'm not annoyed with you, but at the same time I'm annoyed with you.
And once that's done, Camille kind of like puts his arms out. He's completely dwarfed by the coat.
You keep acting like this, and I'm just gonna have to carry you there because I am not backing out of this situation now. So, how much of your pride do you want to keep?
These two.
Tome took one look at this kid and said, "You are adorable. Does not mean I will show mercy."
Camille kind of just raises an eyebrow before putting on a very big baby grin. Like, oh wow!
Gosh.
Thank you so much for the coat, Mr. Detective.
Oh my god, Tome gives him such a pointed look with that. He just makes a little eye motion like, I'm watching you, kid.
And Camille gives you a little smug grin, waves at you, and starts heading off. The coat's absolutely kind of trailing behind him.
Tome pinches the bridge of his nose and goes, I'll get that whenever I stop by the office. I need another coffee. It's been harder than another coffee, and I think that's a fun place to.
I think so, yeah. Alright.
Camille walking with a coat as long as him and Tome can have yet another coffee from this kid.
Yeah. Alright. Well, thank you
All
so
right.
much for joining me on my impromptu murder mystery spec.
Thank you for doing an impromptu murder mystery, because I was about to enter this the blindest I have ever gone into anything. I was as blind as Tome.
Yeah, I kind of looted a earlier a murder mystery case that I read and then edited it a little bit.
Absolutely valid.
But yeah, so thank you for joining me. It was very fun. These
It was.
horrible detectives, I pat them affectionately.
I hold them like ferret. I swing them around. Gremlin children, gremlin man.
Yeah, cannot wait until Tome gets to join us in the ranks of disgusting modifiers.
I need one level of rogue and I can get that 25 perception I've been trying to get.
Absolutely. But yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you also, my beloved listeners.
Thank
It's
you.
been a very
Thank
good
you for
time.
joining. Yay. Thank you. And thank you to our Nuts and Bolts Gallery for sitting through Tome and I trying our best.
All right. Bye.
Bye.